Because the thing I wish somebody had told me sooner in my journey is that emotions always follow decisions. And would you agree with me, when you're in conflict with your wife, it's usually emotionally based? Like very few of us sit down and go, today's a good day to have an argument, so I'm just gonna schedule it. No, it happens because emotional issues are rolling. And the way you harness emotions is through decisions.
Well, we're in the huddle again with the guys of A Better Us. It's great to have you with us. I'll tell you where we are in a second. Eric Maines, Dan McCauley, Mike Pinball Clemens, and Bill Farrell. It's great having you with us, Bill.
Thank you. Yeah. Thanks
Bill
for letting me in.
is a relationship expert that helps us get a handle on things when we don't really know what's going on with our wives. We're trying to understand them. Written like some 45 books, and probably the most well-known is The Men Are Like Waffles, Women Are Like Spaghetti.
No doubt.
And
the
so,
next best known is Red Hot Monogamy.
Yeah, Red Hot Monogamy. I like that title of that one for sure. So it's, we are here at the Canadian Football Hall of Fame, which is housed in Tim Hortons Field right here in Hamilton, Ontario. So it's a great stadium that a lot of things happen. Now, today is a down day for the stadium. You know, you don't see thousands of screaming fans there. But they're all out there watching us. Yeah, that's right. But so the Canadian Football Hall of Fame, of course, Mike, you are enshrined here as one of the inductees.
That is one of the few games I didn't lose here.
And so it's kind of neat to. I don't know how I would feel to see a bronze head sticking up there of me, but. I'll never understand that feeling, but it's kind of probably a little funny.
Awkward indeed. Yes, yes.
It's a good likeness of you, though.
Oh, well, thank you so much, and it is a great honor. I am often try to defer, but it's a great honor. But the greater honor is to have a wonderful marriage, and that's what we're talking about today.
We all want to become a better us, and one of those things that pops up its ugly head quite often in all of our marriages is this whole idea of conflict. And it's been said conflict is inevitable, combat is optional. And so how do we kind of navigate this? It can be something that can either throw gasoline on a fire or maybe figure out ways how you can just kind of douse that and calm it down.
What you talking about, Willis?
You trying to get a fight going? So, Bill, maybe you can take a run at this ball and kick us off.
Nice.
To
Hope
say,
I don't fumble it.
How do we become a better us when it comes to conflict?
So I think, it starts, guys, with us assuming we're going to have conflict in our marriages. Yeah. And it's almost guaranteed for two reasons. One is the things that are going to drive us crazy about our wives are the very things that we love about our wives, because they're the most powerful traits they have. Like, I love the fact that my wife is very creative, makes her a lot of fun to be around. We've had lots of great family memories because of her creativity, but she does everything creative. So I can't find stuff in the house. I often get frustrated with our schedule because she just creatively changes it. And so there's this creative environment that drives me crazy that I also love. And often when we're talking about important decisions, she wants a creative answer to it when it might be a really simple analytical process. And so we get frustrated with the very things that we love about our wives. Plus, we tend to marry what we don't have. Like very, very few of us marry a mirror image of us. We marry to fill in the gaps in our life. So like in my relationship with Pam, my wife's an extrovert, I'm an introvert. So everything in her life can be solved by interaction with people. And I need downtime. But she just wants to go and go and go and go. And sometimes it's like, I can't keep up with you. Like, this is wearing me out. And my wife is also very big on having our family emotionally connected. I'm really big on our family making the right decisions. And so when it comes to financial decisions, it comes to holidays, it's easy to get in conflict because I married what I don't have. And so we should, first of all, expect it. And second, you want to have a process for approaching conflict. Because the thing I wish somebody had told me sooner in my journey is that emotions always follow decisions. And would you agree with me, when you're in conflict with your wife, it's usually emotionally based? Like very few of us sit down and go, today's a good day to have an argument, so I'm just going to schedule it in. No, it happens because emotional issues are rolling. And the way you harness emotions is through decisions. So if you've decided when we're in conflict with each other, this is how we're going to approach it. That decision helps you harness all the emotional energy that's involved in the conflict.
Decide that ahead of time before the conflict comes up.
Yeah, like when I have to be in conflict with my wife, I make an appointment to do it. So I actually said, Pam, there's something I need to talk with you about. I need to figure out when a good time to do it so we both come ready. Because we both are very assertive and we both have strong personalities. So if we do it spontaneously, sparks are going to fly.
Yeah.
But if we plan it, then we both come ready and we tend to do much better. Yeah, and we both grew up in chaos, so we actually have a 5-step process we walk through so that the chaos of our past doesn't get in the way of what we're doing. So if you're going to harness the emotional energy of a conflict, you have to have some way of approaching it. Which, of course, leads to the question, when you're in conflict with your wives, how do you approach it?
Yeah, that's
I've heard of scheduling date nights, but I've never heard of scheduling a fight night.
Hey, sweetie, it's 4:30, so put on your boxing gloves. But yeah, so how do I deal with conflict? Yeah, so hearing that in a marriage, conflict is unavoidable. And Kara and I are 4 years in, so that would mean that the majority of our conflict is ahead of us. So, and when I look back in the past 4 years, how I've dealt with it, and especially recently, when Kara would bring up an issue, and we would start discussing it, and then she would go further in the issue, saying, "Yeah, but this part I need more clarification on." I get quiet. I get silent, and that's just my brain trying to process and think, okay, what does Kara want to hear? What do I want to say? And what's the truth? And so I'm processing that, but I don't know if you guys can relate to this, but she would kind of be waiting there, just looking at me, and then thinking like, does he actually care? And then she would say things like, are you just ignoring the problem now? Like, do you have nothing else to say about this? And they're just like, no, I'm thinking. Give me time. I need to think about this. That's one of the ways that I do it. And looking at here, like most of our conflict would be in front of us now because I plan on a very long, healthy marriage with Kara. And so this is an area that I need help in because maybe I'm by just taking the time and thinking too long is creating more conflict. And so
I do that exact same thing.
Yeah, and so I'm trying to figure out, so you do relate. I'm trying to figure out what is a better way to do that.
I'm probably guilty of playing it out like a strategy game in my head. Well, if I say this, oh, she's gonna say that. I'm thinking carefully before I speak, which maybe is, think before you speak is a good thing, but I would probably err on the side of and because then she's waiting, same thing, and I haven't said anything, and I'm playing it out in my head, but I need to.
So let me ask you another question. We have an honest disagreement with your wife. I mean, it's an honest disagreement. It's a real issue. You're not just frustrated with each other, but there's actually something you need to bring up, and there's an honest disagreement. How do you bring that up without ruining her sense of security with you?
I guess as we were referring to the last question, I am competitive. I want to win. So I.
It's biblical.
I had to
run in such a way as you may
run
win.
the race as to win. That's right. That's right. So early on in our relationship, we did date for 8 years. So we had a long period because we were 19 and 18 and kind of in different places, going to school and all of that. So I really had a challenge with that early, and somewhere along the way, we kind of came up with different things to sort of help out and help the communication. My thought process is now, right, and sort of always kind of have little things that kind of make sense to you at certain periods in life, is I adore you. Right? And so when we start the conversation, or we're in the conversation, we kind of get in this conversation, I try to always think in my head, I adore you. And as I say that in my head, it settles the competitive spirit a little bit. And I understand that I win, right? So in the whole idea, so I guess at one point I was thinking, is it better to win the conversation, right? Or to honor her? And now I understand it's not one or the other. When I honor her, I win. right? And so that's what I.
You're setting a priority.
That's good.
Yeah.
You're, the priority isn't the fight, or in another in a past taping, I remember you saying, "Am I going to say I love her or I love conflict? Do I want to win or do I want her more in the end?" So you're setting a priority by doing that in your heart.
Sometimes I still lose, by the way. Sometimes I still lose. Right? So sometimes I still don't get that part right. Say it in my head, but I think we can kind of develop processes. You went through and talked about process. We can learn. There are processes we can learn. We can come up with our own processes, but I think process helps.
When you think about it, if there's a winner and a loser in their conflict with your spouse, then you both lose because of the damage done to the relationship. So we got to be looking for the win-win. And I think one way to do it is you think of the problem that you're discussing, rather than being between you, and you're kind of firing back and forth at each other and hurting each other in the crossfire. But you really it's the issue that you're trying to deal with. You put the issue over here, like on the other side of the table, and you and your wife are on the same side. You're saying working toward that solution. And then you also you don't start with the accusatory tone, like the you statements. You always did. You're such a you. But if it's the kind of the I statements, like I feel. First of all, you got to tone it down a few notches. In fact, Ann and I have a signal where if we're getting into something and there's emotions are there and it's kind of heated, I might go to her. Okay, let's just tone it down. And she's given me permission to do that. That's okay. It's
Can you
just
say
kind of,
that again?
She's never been like, "Don't
She's
you
given
put
me
that your hand."
permission to do that.
Yeah.
Like, I hope you all heard that. Because if your wife gives you permission to do stuff like this, it works beautifully.
I've seen them try this one before.
Yeah.
No, that one doesn't work.
They probably didn't get permission for that one. And so,
They didn't know that was a snap the turtle.
Yeah, I was just thinking, it's a turtle.
But the thing is that we have to give a safe place in our marriages for the people to bring up if there's an issue, a concern that needs to be shared. But I guess it's in how you do it, the attitude and the tone of voice. And you guys did a teaching that we had in a previous program talking about body language and tone of voice. In a conflict, that's pretty huge, and how that's going to be resolved. It's just going to be all on that emotional level, or do we kind of? And it might take that scheduling, like you say. So you say, okay, can I talk about this? Because your emotions are there, and you go. Maybe you send up a prayer. You just think about how can we then start this so it is on the other side of the table, and this is still safe.
Related to what you're saying, like I've gotten in the habit when I need to bring something up with Pam that's a real issue, I will compliment her first, bring up the issue, compliment her again.
Yeah.
And guys tell me all the time, isn't that just kind of pandering to her? And I say, no, it's making sure that she's feeling secure while we deal with a real issue.
Good. It's good. Well, this has been a great huddle, guys. And I think we've learned some strategies in our huddle to move the ball down the field a little bit and becoming a better us. And so hope you enjoyed this. Stay tuned. More Better Us coming up. And to break the huddle, we got to do the ready? Break! See ya.